Hello, my name is Jamilah Roman, and this is my project. This is me for my interpersonal communication skills class from the University of Florida. To start off my project, I will talk about 5 assessments that we had to complete throughout the course. The first assessment that I took was called, What is your intercultural communication competence? This assessment has to do with how my first impression affects my interaction with others from different cultures. This assessment was divided into 4 categories. I got a score of 17 in high metacognitive cultural intelligence, a 9 in cognitive cultural intelligence, a 10 in motivational cultural integrity, and a 26 in behavioral cultural intelligence. This assessment made me realize that I am very self-conscious when talking to others from different cultures, that I have to improve on this in order to have greater communication skills. The next assessment that I did was called Online and Offline Self-Disclosure, and this assessment would determine my online and face-to-face self-disclosure. I got a score of 3 in the amount of online disclosure, a 2 on depth of online disclosure, a 6 in the amount of face-to-face disclosure, and a 3 in the depth of face-to-face disclosure. After finalizing my scores, I realized that I have, in all of the categories, a lower score than the average score of each category. This impacted me greatly since I finally opened my eyes in a sense that I finally realized how shy I am and how I hide myself from communication environments. And this is definitely something that I have to improve upon, especially in professional and personal settings. The next assessment that I took was called Your Empathy Quotient, which tested my levels of empathy. I had a final score of 46. I was a little bit below the average of 47, and this impacted me in the way that I realized that even though I'm a little bit under the average, I am actually a very empathetic person, and I tend to be that way in the future. The next assessment that I took was called Sexist Language, which is divided into 2 sections. For this assessment, I got a score of 36, which indicates that I have a neutral attitude towards sexist language. This made me realize that I have to stick more towards my beliefs of feminism in a proper way for my future to come. Finally, the Nonverbal Immediacy Behavior Assessment indicates my immediacy when it comes to nonverbal behavior and communication. For this assessment, I got a score of 27, which is really low when it comes to the average of 47 for a college woman. This made me realize that I have to work on my nonverbal immediacy behavior for my future communication skills to improve. Now I will talk about 5 concepts that I learned in class throughout the semester. The first concept is called Johari Window Model. The Johari Window Model was established by Harry Ingham and Joseph Loved, which indicates how the self-disclosure works. The model is divided by blind, open, and unknown and hidden areas. During class, we had to complete an assignment based on the Johari Window assignment, where we answer statements that will give our score on each of the 4 areas of the model, and thus know our self-disclosure capabilities. After knowing my scores, I realized that I would ask people things about myself rather than tell them. For the future, I will try to open up more, and I will try to not be worried about what others think of me by asking them things about me. The second concept is called Steps in the Perception Process. The perception process indicates how we connect significance to our experiences in 4 steps: selection, organization, interpretation, and negotiation. This concept made me realize that I tend to jump to conclusions very often, and it really gave me clarity when it comes to the steps that I have to consider before having a specific perception of a situation, which is something that I will work on within my personal life. The next concept would be powerful language. Powerful language is when someone communicates directly and forcefully, with affirmations and declarations within their messages or statements. This concept impacted me to a great extent, since I realized that I do not have a powerful language at all. It made me realize that I have to be more confident and blunt when communicating in a respectful manner, of course, which is something that I will remember to do within my professional life in the future. Another concept that I learned in class would have to be emotional intelligence, which is the capability where you can understand and coordinate your own emotions and be sensitive when it comes to others' emotions as well. I have always been told by my father that my emotional intelligence is not that strong. And this is why learning this concept impacted me so much, since after studying it, I realized that my father is right, and that I should try to be more confident in myself and try to control more my emotions in order to avoid others from taking advantage of me emotionally in my future. My final concept is types of friendships. There are 5 types of friendships: short versus long-term, task versus maintenance-oriented, low versus high disclosure, low versus high obligation, and infrequent versus frequent contact. Learning these 5 types of friendships impacted me in a bittersweet way, since it brought me back many memories of a long-term friendship that I had that suddenly faded away due to infrequent contact on my part. This concept will definitely stick with me for the rest of my life, not only because of the memories it brought me, but because it made me realize that I have to be more disclosed with my current friends by using frequent contact in order to not have an unbalanced personal life. To finalize my project, I will talk about 6 ideas for my personal/professional life. The first idea would have to be perception checking, which is a strategy used in order to analyze assumptions and share interpretations in an improved manner. I will use such strategy when it comes to having more proper confrontations in my personal life. The next idea is transactional communication, which is a process where the people communicating create significance together through their interactions. This is a strategy that can be used in a more professional setting, which I will take note of for my future professional life. The next idea would be nonverbal communication, which is a type of communication where messages are expressed in non-linguistic forms. When doing the Exploring Your Surroundings assignment, I realized the major importance of this idea when it comes to figuring out people in a personal and professional manner, which is a strategy that I will do in the future to have a better personal and professional life. Paraphrasing is the idea of providing commentary that restates in your own words the specific message that was given by the other communicator in that specific situation. When we used such idea in the paraphrasing practice assignment, it really impacted me how the strategy worked out really successfully. Thus, I will try my best to use such strategy when having small discussions with people in my personal life. The next idea would have to be metacommunication, which is the skill of communicating about communication. This idea impacted me so much since I learned that it is helpful within personal relationships because when talking about bigger problems or the subject of communication overall, we can solve our issues within our personal relationships. Thus, I will definitely be using this idea to keep my personal life at bay. My final idea would have to be social support, which is the idea of helping others when they are going through tough times by giving emotional, instrumental, or informational support. This idea impacted me very much because thanks to it, I learned how to help my friends when they need it without drawing the attention out of themselves. Thus, I will use this strategy to be a better friend. Thank you so much for watching. Here are my works cited.